For the second time this week, the Supreme Court is rejecting efforts from Republicans to block the election of Joe Biden. We have just gotten the order in from the Supreme Court, and they have rejected Texas's bid to file this complaint at the Supreme Court, asking the Supreme Court to stop the certification process in 4 crucial battleground states. This is a pretty succinct order, not as succinct as we saw earlier in the week, but this is an order blocking Texas from even filing this complaint at the Supreme Court. So the way that the Supreme Court is putting this is they are rejecting this effort because of a lack of standing for Texas. They put it this way, saying Texas has not demonstrated a judicially cognizable interest in the matter in which another state conducts its elections. All other pending motions are dismissed as moot. So, Wolf, the court in this case saying, Texas, you can't even file this case at the Supreme Court. And as such, all of your requests for blocking the certification, for asking the legislatures to instead appoint electors, all of that is blocked. This is a shutdown of Republicans' efforts to block this election in favor of Joe Biden here. It's notable that this is an unsigned order. However, 2 of the justices, Justice Alito as well as Justice Thomas, they dissented in part. They said that Texas should have at least been able to file this complaint because they said it falls within their original jurisdiction. As we've talked about, the Supreme Court does in fact have original jurisdiction over state versus state disputes, but it's never been taken to this level. These are usually disputes that the Supreme Court hears about, boundary disputes or water rights issues. So in this case, the Supreme Court completely shutting this case down. Yet another major loss, Wolf, for Republicans, the second time this week from the Supreme Court, and we've seen dozens of other defeats all over the country here, Wolf.
Yeah, a huge slap in the face of the Texas Attorney General and all those who supported the Texas Attorney General, Republican Attorneys Generals in 18 other states, 126 Republican members of the House of Representatives, including Kevin McCarthy, the top Republican, the minority leader in the House, and of course, a huge slap at President Trump himself, who repeatedly over these past few days has been publicly tweeting, lobbying the United States to go ahead and accept this case, which they have rejected.
So that was some breaking news that Donald Trump, his Texas cronies, his Congress cronies, the Republican Party has failed to even have their case heard at the Supreme Court. Basically, their effort was to try and get Texas and other red states to interfere with the election within Pennsylvania and Georgia and other swing states, and they failed. The Supreme Court basically said that they do not have standing to interfere here. Texas and those other states and those congressmen have been unable to prove that they have the right and ability and urgency to interfere with how other states conduct their election. And even conservative justices like Clarence Thomas and Alito, they basically said, look, we think we should have heard this case because of how important it is, but we would not have granted relief to Attorney General Paxton from Texas, meaning what they're basically saying is technically we would have decided to hear this case if it was up to us, but upon hearing it, we would not have actually done anything to change anything. Basically saying, technically, this is important enough for the Supreme Court, but it's still a BS case with BS motives and BS evidence, and we're not going to entertain actually, throwing out the vote in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, and those sorts of states. This is a shattering defeat. Again, the Supreme Court is 6 out of 9 conservative, including 3 out of the 9 directly appointed by Trump. And it's very telling that the 3 conservatives appointed by Trump were not part of that group that even wanted to hear the case. His own directly appointed people rejected him here. This is a sign that it's over. Like, I know we keep saying that, like, that it's over, but this really was the last Hail Mary. The Hail Mary of Hail Marys. And I think now it really is over. Trump's not going to stop. He's not going to stop making claims. He just put out the most bonkers ad on his Twitter account. I don't even think I could play it here because YouTube would mark it as disinformation. It's that bad. But frankly, he's still going to grift his supporters. He's still going to grift the Republican Party. He's still going to try to tear down Fox News in a battle with OAN and Newsmax. But this is over. There are no more legal challenges. Joe Biden's going to be the next president, but here's the thing. Never let the Republican Party live it down. For the rest of our lives, they will be the enemies of democracy, and they should never be allowed to forget what they did to harm it in the United States.